Hey everyone, Joe here from ActionX. Welcome to What's on the Tube, or welcome back. If this is your 5th Walker episode review, it's going to be the last one for a while, kids. We're going on break after this week. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. For me, actually. So, yeah. This week we kind of went... I think in a way we kind of went full circle. Like, you can view this, like, 5 episodes, like, the first 5 as, like, kind of their own, like, full complete-ish story, as we explored the, a little bit more of Walker when he was away for that year. Well, almost a year away from his kids after the death of Emily. And it brought a little bit more insight to his mindset into this, when he, after he lost Emily, and now, now trying to begin to make an effort to get back into his kid's life and start, like, changing things for the better. It did not end up staying that long, as, he immediately gets thrown back into this old life, not by choice, but now, everything has for a reason, and, I think at the end of the day, it worked out pretty fine, and I really did enjoy this episode. I really did. It continued so much of what we were building on, like Walker and, also, am I centered? I'm centered. Walker's and Mickey's overall partnership. I felt like it kind of grew up a couple steps. We got to see more of Walker having to trust his kids more, a little bit more on Stella, which I finally remember her name. I told you I would remember, and I did. So, very happy I finally remember the name. It was nice to start seeing the personal worlds of Walker and Mickey's kind of begin to collide in unexpected ways, and hopefully, and I know it's TV show 101, like, they got to start, like, somehow connecting the storylines, somehow connecting the characters, but it makes sense in an organic way, and I really did enjoy it. But enough said. Let's get to the butchered recap and talk about this episode specifically talk about spoilers. So we begin immediately where this, well, not really, we begin with a flashback about, I want to say, the beginning of Walker's sting operation with the Rodeo Kings. He's new to this field. He sees a bunch of people just, like, galloping around on bulls and horses, and a very attractive woman comes up to him, trying to strike up a conversation with him. They seem to hit it off, but then he attracts the attention. Also, Walker's undercover name was Duke during this time period, so he had to, at this point in the undercover operation, he had to begin to kind of come into the Rodeo Kings, and that means kind of, trusting them a little bit, which included riding a bull, which we did not get to see, which I would have loved to see, but I'm pretty sure because of safety reasons they were not able to film it, which is very unfortunate. So as we see the start of Walker's life as Duke, we come back to present day, where now Walker's kind of slowly thrown back into that persona, because last week August found his burner phone from when he was undercover, which he texted the girl, the blonde from the flashback, and now Walker is back in contact with her, meaning that he has to now resume that undercover alias, since apparently the story that he told her was that he was going to go away to prison, so that would kind of be his excuse to kind of return back to his normal life, which is kind of weird considering the fact later on we find out that she was always in the same town as them, which is apparently Austin, so that finally is great to clarify for me. And so it's like, it always bothered me that, like, yeah, Walker would never run into her on the street. I mean, I know she was only back for, like, a few weeks, but, like, was that never, like, a thought that crossed his mind, that he could inevitably run into her, now this time not in the persona? So Walker goes into the bathroom. He dunks his head in the water for some reason, and kind of, I think, psyching himself up. He heads down to see Stella ready for her game day. Seeing August ready to take the photo shoot for the game day, which is apparently the opening day for the high school soccer league, I believe it was. I'm not really quite sure. Obviously, with Walker being in uniform, it means that he's not going to be there. But Walker does promise Stella, I will be there, don't worry. I'll be there at 11 or noon, or I forgot what time they said. But because of August's continuous claims about the whole burner phone, about, like, just the secret life he led, I guess, with the Rodeo Kings, Walker decides to ground him, saying, like, look, you're out of line here. You don't know what you're talking about. Just stay put. Then he goes out to a field and starts changing into his Duke persona, which is a hat with the Texas Rangers logo, kind of like merchandising. Very poorly choose aftershave, smelling like booze, like the whole like drunken Texan. Like that's a little bit offensive. No, I meant like just like a. I guess that was the persona he created. I don't really know, but so meanwhile, back in Mickey's side of the world, her boyfriend is getting ready to coach his first soccer game in the high school, which obviously is the same one that Stella's in. So he's getting himself psyched up, and he also wants to drop the question on her, like not the question, but like a question of like, is it possible to start making the attempt to start getting to know his mother? Like, he's thinking like this could be the one, that she could be it, and and he wants her to start like he wants her to start getting involved in his mother's world, so that they can. It's nice small steps toward the overall thing, but because of Mickey's current issues with her mother, she doesn't want to get involved in another mother issue. She kind of snaps at him a little bit, but she kind of reins him back and just say, "Look, can we just talk about this later? I'm not in the mood right now." Which he does respect. He holds his ground, which I'm very thankful. And she cuts back to the station where she gets pulled away by Captain James, Cordell's brother Liam, as well as this FBI agent who's catching her up to speed on the Rodeos King case and what Walker was doing during his undercover years, as well as his alias Duke. And it turns out he had just reactivated his persona as Duke as he goes to the motel to meet the woman, which has a very simple name, but I do not remember that name. Immediately, as soon as they see each other in the motel, they immediately start kissing. And presumably, also, we just had really two great excuses to see Jared Padalecki's body, which I'm like, bravo, man. Bravo. You worked really hard for that body. So kudos to you. So you presume they're about to start some sex. Like, and after what Riverdale did this week, I'm like, Walker's better go for it. But it's not that type of show, because Walker just stops and says, look, we can't do this. Like, we can't be seen together because it's too much of a risk for you since I'm on parole. So, this could be a little bit stingy. She's basically telling her, like, well, I thought since you texted me, like, you're admitting you have the money, the $300K from the last job they pulled before everything went sideways. And, he contacted her so that they could start to run away together and, like, move on with a new life. He says, like, no, I don't have the money. That money's not on me. But he's not, but she doesn't believe that 100%, saying that, nothing adds up. Like, you were the last one seen with the money, so you should have the money. But he's not giving specific details of what happened with the money since he doesn't have it, because we already know that. But he's trying to still, like, look, we'll find another way to get the money to get out of Austin. So let's go get a drink. Let's go get some garlic bread, which I'm like, I can go for some garlic bread right now. Man, garlic bread sounds nice right now this time of night. Ooh. So meanwhile, back on the other side, Mickey decides to go in undercover to kind of like help Walker out, but not like really try to blow his cover. So also, August meets with his friend, who could just be another girl. Could be a girl he's interested in, or I don't know anymore. He's kind of catching her up on like his theory that Walker's was with another woman, either before or after his mom, and he's not really comfortable with it, and he wants to go confront them, and she agrees to drive him to wherever the hell he is. Meanwhile, Stella's at the game with Mickey's boyfriend as the new coach, and her mind seems to be out of it, considering the fact that Walker's not there because, duh. So her head's on the game. We cut to later where she loses the game for her team. Mickey's boyfriend tries to go up to her and ask her what's up. She's not giving him an answer, since like, hey, look, you're the new coach. You're just trying to on your first day, which he does admit, like, yeah, I am trying, because like I want to try. And before he's about to like come through with like a bonding moment with her and him, like, let's jog together, let's just sprint and like get to know each other. And she's like, okay, fine, here's what's going on, that Emily was part of the soccer team in college, and Walker would never miss any of his games, of her games. And that was kind of like another semblance of what Walker was like pre everything that happened. So Stella thought that maybe if she joined the soccer team, that would be a much more of a big boost for Walker to start being more like him old self again. But he didn't show up, so all he recommended to her was that hopefully it works out. But you gotta know. Sorry, long day for me. I apologize. Very unprofessional. He gives her the advice that you have to do this for yourself, or you got to figure out who you're doing this for. Are you doing this for yourself because you want to, or are you doing this because you think you need Walker's approval or his, him as to come back? And honestly, that's really good advice. Mickey found a really great guy over there. So at the bar, Duke and this girl are having like a ton of fun. They're like catching up on old times. They're like just flowing like nothing's changed. And in all honesty, like, yeah, it has not been so long, per se, since presumably it's only been, like, what, a handful of weeks or, like, something like that? I mean, actually, no, wait, it could have been even smaller considering the fact that, yeah, I don't know how long this time period is. I think it's only a handful of weeks. I highly doubt we got into the months yet, since with these latest CW shows, like, they don't follow the norms of, like, oh, we're following through, because I'm doing Nancy Drew right now, and, like, the events of like the finale of season 1 to the beginning of season 2, they're all in the same week. So it's not like a week by week, like we gotta wait like an Arrow or Flash, like it's like a comedian, like, this week or next week or something like that, It's not like that, so I don't think Walker's hit a month mark yet in the current timeline, so, which is great for, stretching out the story, because, like, but anyway, whatever. So, they're catching up on old times. Mickey comes in as the alias Adriana, and she almost busts up a potential shootout between this other dude and Walker, which turns out to be one of the old rodeo kings that Walker had to make comfortable with back in the just making sure the mic levels are fine. Sorry about that. Back in the day, he's obviously a little bit peeved that, like, hey, you should have the money. You were the last one spotted with it, so where is it? He's still like, I don't got it, man. I don't got it. I mean, and he's not gonna say, like, look, no matter what, we all need the money. And also, Mickey does a great job at portraying Adriana and, like, not blowing Walker's Duke alias, so everything seems to be flowing fine here and gaining the trust of the other two. But Walker, as Duke, basically says that, look, the money's not there. The $300K we had in the last job is not there anymore. We need to perform another job so we can get that money and get the hell out of here. So, which they're all pretty much game for. And obviously, Adriana, or Mickey, needs to prove herself in, since that even though this is like a very shambles rodeo kings, they still need to have an initiation for her, which is riding a bull, which I so desperately want to do. So anyway, what was I going to say? Yeah, so they head over to the bull ring, but before then, Walker and Mickey have a brief moment out of their personas to talk about, like, everything going on. Mickey is kind of a little bit furious that Walker didn't give her a heads up, even though that technically, yeah, August kind of pushed him into this, so he had no choice, really. So, also Walker gets reminded that he's missing the Stella's game, which is, of course, Father of the Year here, just missing out on everything, like, not making much progress there on the front. But then they quickly return back to the personas. They head over to the bull ring, and it's like, I really want to ride one of these things one day. Hopefully soon. Or later. Mickey as Adriana just kills on the bull rider, immediately earns the respect of everyone else. But before they're able to proceed forward with planning the next move, car comes by them, which Walker has an immediate suspicion who it is. So he goes up and it's August and the girl. And August just tries to get his face, like, basically saying, like, why are you doing this? Why are you leaving us again? Like, you're just trying to leave us, your own family, for this girl, which Walker doesn't have the time to explain it to him, since, like, he can't blow his cover. Also, he doesn't want things to escalate. So he basically has to, like, be this, like, really great balance. And this is a really great scene for Jared as an actor. Like, he had to balance, like, being a father and a criminal, and it's like, it's so freaking hard for him, because, like, he knows nothing is wrong with him, but he needs to get him a way out of here, and, like, the only way to, like, do that is, like, to push him away like, mentally, which honestly could have caused some irreparable damage to August's mindset. So eventually it does work, and they're able to move on from there. Also, meanwhile, back in the I forgot about the station people. After they managed to get Mickey in as an official undercover agent, we get a little bit of a flashback with Liam about his unwillingness to get to push forward, since, like, they needed, according to Liam, he wanted the rodeo kings to be in the bank for the arrests, so they don't need Cordell's testimony, because, like, regardless of how it went out, like, Cordell, like, just putting himself out there in the public, revealing his true name, revealing his identity, would put everyone in his family at risk, which is such a a huge like big thing for undercover agents. Like they got to be really careful there. So yeah, I'm not surprised at Liam. Also, apparently Liam did get contacted by Walker during, I think, in one of the last days before Walker returned and when the start of the series happened. He made a contact with Walker, and during at the peak of Walker's time as Duke, Walker manages to step away for a little bit to kind of let him know, like, look, they're going to perform the job tomorrow. You got to arrest them tonight. You got to put them away because people are going to die. People are going to get hurt. The money's going to be stolen. A lot of bad stuff's going to happen. So you got to do it now. But Liam's like, no, I need them at the bank. Otherwise, we don't have a solid case against them without you as a witness. But it kind of just leaves it up in the air, and we know what happens after that. So, yeah, that's why kind of Liam's like very hesitant on like pursuing forward with this. Meanwhile, back with the Rodeo Kings, as Walker and Mickey are trying to like get into their characters again and trying to like perform this job. Walker gets another flashback, not to Emily for once, to his time, to the last day of being Duke in the flashback point of view, where they perform the job and their leader just goes guns a-blazing and starts like shooting everything, getting into a shoot up with the police. One of their other partners, the original wheel woman, she gets shot down and she's bleeding out, and Walker suggests they just retreat and try to run away from this, but he's like, no, we can't, we gotta go out of guns a-blazing. Walker manages to take the money and the woman away, but he gives the money to the woman, says like, look, you gotta go to a hospital. It's still not too late to wave the white flag, but she's like, nope, not happening. She also gives him a message like, tell that other dude who was shooting at, like, tell him that we will still have one more last dance, and she just drives away as Walker gets left in the dust, and presumably being at the end of his original time period as Duke. And then that's when Walker suddenly gets the connection pieces together, like, there'll always be a last dance. So she's referring to the jukebox at their usual bar. So that is where she probably stashed the cash. And then once he reveals it to everyone, and now Mickey's like, oh fuck, like the bank was like the thing that was gonna put them away. Now we got nothing. Now we're gonna have to just hand them the money and figure out something else to do. The woman knocks out the other guy, and it turns out she's just been playing this whole long just to get the information she needs, and then she was gonna go out and get the money for herself and like run away alone. So she orders Walker and Mickey to like stand down and lean down, otherwise she shoots. Which she makes her escape at the bar, and then Walker has no choice but to end this once and for all. So he heads to the bar. He manages to convince her to like not run away for a brief bit, to have one last dance, which is kind of a little bit sweet considering the fact that I don't think Walker was 100% into her, but like there was definitely a part of him that seemed like he was really interested. So yeah, then as soon as the dance ends, and presumably she's going to run away with the money and maybe have a change of heart, Captain James and his police force arrive to kind of arrest her. I don't know, I keep saying kind of a lot. She tries to make a quick escape, but the FBI agent and her crew show up as well, so she's basically surrounded. She eventually gets caught, but Walker, as Duke starts keeps running as well, even after she gets caught, and he pulls out a gun at the FBI agent, which she shoots him at once the gun is shown out, and he falls into the pool, which is honestly another symbolic meaning of like something I forgot to mention during the recap, was that whenever Walker had to switch between Walker and Duke, he would dunk his head in water to get more into the persona of the guy he's trying to be. So this jumping into the pool when he's dead is like a symbolism that this was the last time he was going to turn from Duke to Walker, since he was officially killing off Duke. And to her, she thinks Duke is dead, when in reality, no, it was just a ploy enough to just get her to convince that, like, yeah, no, he's dead, so like don't even think about it again. Which I don't know, man. I don't know. Like there could be some potential storylines here for season 2, so I'm gonna just wait on that. So Walker's cleared. The money's gotten. The Rodeo Kings are over. So it's a victory for everyone. And so they're all able to go home now. Then 3 interesting things happen. One for Mickey. Well, not really interesting for Mickey, but her and her boyfriend are like now back on a good terms. She's willing to start to make a connection towards his mother, since she believes that they're going to do this for the long haul, which is pretty sweet for them to do. And what was I going to say? So they're on happy terms. Walker heads back home. He talks to Stella and August. They're like, "Hey, look, I'm not leaving. That was a undercover thing. I can't tell you everything, but I'm not leaving you guys. Like, I'm a little bit hurt. You think I was leaving you? I would never leave you." And then that was the last time you'll see Doug. And he gives him the opportunity to like burn his disguise, his undercover outfit with them, kind of like as a symbolism. Like, look, I am fully here now. There's nothing holding me back. And they both agree, and like, so this was all after Mom, right? And he's like, yeah, everything that happened, as Duke was after Emily's death. So he was kind of in the clear on that, if you know what I mean. And so Walker just watches the Duke persona officially get burned up, and kind of ending that full story arc, in my opinion. So I was thinking like, so it seemed like a lot of the rest of season 1 is basically just going to be rebuilding. But not just quite yet, per se. Because there was a scene before this where both Liam and James meet up in the office. And Liam basically drops, "Hey, look. You requested the drone footage of Emily's death like I did. So, even though we both told Walker to back off, we both know there's something missing here. There's something off about this. So that means Emily's death wasn't 100% an accident. There's something more in there, player. But we have to wait till 2 weeks from now to even get a hint of what was going on, because that was the end of the episode." So I really did dig this one. I did really think I liked getting another shade into Walker as like what he was when he was away, and the lengths he was willing to do to get the bad guy, as well as the growing bond between Walker and Mickey. So yeah, Mickey's still annoyed with him like hell, but like she's starting to like, she'll do what she can to like really help out her partner, and I really like that. No appearances from the grandparents this week. I guess it was kind of difficult to kind of fit them in, and I'm guessing after last week they're like, yeah, they need a little bit more time to like, we need to split off a little bit. Hopefully when we come back in 2 weeks, we'll be able to catch up with them. And yeah, well, I'm happy that Walker is officially done with Duke, and hopefully the end of the Rodeo King stuff. Maybe we'll get a flashback to there again. Who knows? The Emily thing's still not over yet, so what more can we have there? Who knows? And also, I'm finally happy I remember Stella's name. I'm finally happy. Will I remember in 2 weeks? Who knows? But yeah, so for me, I give this episode 2 thumbs up, and I think that's going to do it for me tonight, everyone. So if you were unaware, this has been What's in the Tube from ActionX, reviewing every episode of Walker's first season. If you want to know what we're doing overall, What's in the Tube, we're doing every Rookie Season 3 episode reviewed every Monday morning after a brand new episode on Sunday nights on ABC, and then Hulu the next day. We also do Nancy Drew Season 2 episode reviews each and every Thursday morning after a brand new episode on Wednesday nights on the CW, or free the next day on the CW app and the CW.com. But if you don't care about Walker, you don't have to wait a bit. We're going to go on break. We're on hiatus up until March 11th. But most likely or not, I'll have a mini slate of the channel at some point in a couple weeks. But there's a good chance when I review that episode, it'll be a little bit later. And it might be somewhere different. I can't say more than that, considering the fact things are very changeable in this environment, so I cannot explain any more than that. But I will explain more at a later date. But we will be back in 2 weeks, no matter what. We will be back. We will be reviewing the continuing Walker's first season, per se. So honestly, yeah, I think we were due for a break, since I think we're about caught up, because I think they didn't start shooting the show till November. So if you follow the 2 episodes a month rule, maybe 3. Yeah, we're almost caught up. So they need a little bit more time to build a bigger buffer, and hopefully coming back on March 11th, well, the show, March 12th for us, hopefully, it'll give them more time to come back with more episodes. So hopefully we'll see how that goes out. Because we're doing 18 episode reviews, because they got renewed for the back 5. So, which is normally the back 9, but because of COVID, they had to reduce that to Like it's just too much for people, but I'm very excited. So we still have a ton of episodes to go. We still have 13 episodes left to review this season, but who knows what happens next. But we'll find out soon. But again, if you're unaware, this was What's in the Two from ActionX. If you want to see more of us, please subscribe to ActionX on YouTube.com. Ring that bell for notification when our next episode review is live, which usually is each and every Friday mornings. But since we are on hiatus next week, we're going to do 2 quick impressions to kind of fill the gap until we come back with Walker. I believe next week we're going to do Spectacular Spider-Man. That's going to be a pretty big episode, so you don't want to miss that. So I'll be taking over the time slot next week for a little bit. And like, favorite, share this episode review if you want to, but it does help us out, get us out there to other people in the Texas Ranger fan base who has yet to discover us, and also everything sharing is for free. Follow us on Twitter to be up to date on any updates for the channel. Follow us on Twitch to be up to watch us stream when I'm able to, because Elgato still busted. But again, for all you Texas Rangers, maybe somewhere different. I can't say more than that. I'll see y'all in March, in 2 weeks. No matter what, 2 weeks, I will be back. I'm being very vague and cryptic because I can't talk about it yet, but I will be back. So until then, peace out.